Hello everyone, and welcome to... This is South America, and here's Peru. Now let's go, shall we? The land of Peru has the distinction of being one of the earliest places in the world for civilization to develop, and was the first spot in the Americas to do so. Here are the remains of a structure from the Caral Supe civilization. Those persons who populated it are a big fat mystery. Hardly anything is known about them. They had little art and no pottery, but they did build some of those weird monoliths that were popping up all over the earth in ancient times for some reason. Anyway, later on a number of other cultures arose in Peru, such as the Chavin, who not only made art, but were also good at it. They domesticated llamas, ate quinoa and potatoes, and were skilled builders. Then there was the Nazca culture. The Nazca culture. The Nazca were fond of cutting off heads, but are most famed for their extraordinary geoglyphs, enormous shapes carved into the earth and preserved by the dry desert climate. No one knows exactly how or why these Nazca lines were made. One explanation... Anyway, next up we have the Moche, who were expert craftsmen and, unusually for an Amerindian culture, dabbled in artistic realism as we see from this ceramic vase. The Moche had a rather unpleasant religion involving A. the worship of a spider god, and B. human sacrifice. Then there was the Chimor kingdom, which produced master metalworkers, and whose capital, Chan was one of the largest cities in pre-Columbian South America. Unfortunately, the Chimu also practiced human sacrifice, child sacrifice. The Chimor state was powerful, but power has an odd habit of not lasting, and it was conquered by the most famous of all Peruvian empires, the Inca. The origins of the Inca Empire are traditionally attributed to Manco Capac, believed to be the son of the sun god, and the founder of the Inca capital, Cusco, sometime in the 1200s. It was under Pachacuti, however, the ninth king, that the Inca really began to expand, and he conquered and his son conquered, and the Inca Empire grew to become the biggest state that the Americas had ever known. This here is the celebrated site of Machu Picchu, built as a sort of royal estate in the clouds. But again, the Inca also sacrificed children. The end of their empire, however, was stridently signaled by the arrival of the gold-seeking Spaniards, led by the conquistador Francisco Pizarro. Racked by introduced disease as well as civil war, the Inca were in no shape for an invasion, but it's exactly what they got. The Spanish utterly crushed the Incans in this battle. Thousands were slain, but not one Spaniard died. The emperor was captured and later executed. Years of resistance and fighting followed, but Spain prevailed, and thus established the viceroyalty of Peru. Under Francisco de Toledo, an intelligent but icy-veined man, Spanish rule was more efficiently organized, as was the forced labor of native Peruvians in silver mines. Not a happy time. Anyway, cities were built and Spanishness spread, but by the 1700s the mines were depleted, and the economic changes that were sketched out hurt Peru, and troubled the populace, and stirred up old hatreds of the Spanish colonial administration, and an indigenous chieftain took the name Tupac Amaru II, and launched a rebellion. It was an ugly, messy, brutish affair, but once more the Spanish triumphed, and Tupac was captured and forced to watch his wife and son's execution before he too was violently killed. The 19th century brought a fresh push for independence, and when people really want to be free, it's really hard to stop them, and the Spanish couldn't stop them. So Peru was liberated, and after a war with Bolivia, over land of course, enjoyed an economic upswing under President Ramon Castilla and his splendid mustache, due to the profitable export of guano. If you don't know what guano is, look it up. I won't be dropping any hints here. Then the guano ran out and Peru sank into debt, and there was conflict with Spain, over land of course, and then war with Chile, over land of course. Then there was war with Colombia. Please don't make me say it again, okay fine, over land of course. After this, you've got to be kidding me. There was war with Ecuador, over land of course! Meanwhile, Peru's politics remained in a shaky state. This guy became president in 1948 after a military coup, but his successor was himself toppled by a coup in 1962. 6 years later, there was another coup that brought another general to power. He championed and implemented left-wing policies and reforms, but also faced harsh opposition as well as hyperinflation and terrorist rebels. And yes, he ended up kicked out in a coup. There was another conflict with Ecuador in 1981. The military conspired to sterilize and thus eradicate poor and indigenous citizens. Wait, what? And under President Fujimori here, there was a time of growth and stability amidst all the corruption and human rights abuses. He fled the country in the year 2000, but was later arrested and imprisoned. Oh, and there was another war with Ecuador, and I'm not even going to tell you why, because you already know. In 2010, Peru's greatest writer, Mario Vargas Llosa, won the Nobel Prize in Literature, and the country today, despite its qualms and quandaries, possesses a high level of human development and a growing economy, and we wish Peru all the best for the years ahead. But as for me, it's bye for now. Bye-bye!